What's going on, Titan Nation? Welcome everybody into Titans and Truth. I'm your man Chris, aka Blue Enforcer, and we got a really good show for you today. And we're gonna kick things off because training camp has arrived. Players have reported, and we're gonna go ahead and kick it off right here with our general manager, John Robinson.
Welcome back. Hope everybody had a good summer. Was able to catch up on some family time. I know I sure was. But it's good to be back to football. Be back here at St. Thomas Sports Park with our team and get working. Just wanted to update on a couple roster things here before coach and some of the players come out. Taylor Lewan was here today. It's good to have him back. I know that our coaches are excited to work with him and had really good discussions over the last 24 hours. With his representation, and nothing's finalized, but I would say we're certainly headed in the right direction. And then released Kevin Dodd yesterday. I'll say this about Kevin. Kevin's a good young man. He's a talented young man, and I take full responsibility for that one. I've got to do a better job scouting moving forward. I think that the roster is now at 89. 89 players are accounted for on our football team. And we'll work to add a 90th guy here in the next day or so to be at the full roster limit. And that's kind of where we're at. I'll take one or two questions and then get out of your guys' way.
Did Don come in? Did you meet with him face to face?
Yeah. He and I sat down yesterday. Had a really good discussion, and wish him nothing but the best moving forward in his career.
One deal before the preseason gets here.
Yeah, I don't know. The preseason's upon us. We're in it now. The guys are here. So as far as for the game, I don't know. I'd say we've made really good progress, and that's about all I can really comment on that for now.
Do you need to know he was going to be here?
Do you feel like maybe that Don did get an indication that he just didn't want to be here, or has lost the desire to play the game, or anything like that?
Yeah, again, with every player, there's different circumstances that come up in their life that affect what they do on a day-to-day basis, and I'd like to keep those conversations private between Kevin and I. I've got a really good relationship with Kevin. I respect him. I know it didn't go as we had planned here, but I really respect the young man that he is, and he and I hope to remain friends with him moving forward, and I think we will.
All right, but that was basically our general manager, John Robinson, commenting about training camp getting started. Taylor Lewan, one of the big stories, did not hold out. He reported to camp today. He is in the building, and he will be practicing with the team tomorrow. So he is ready and raring to go. Of course, the other news from that press conference, Kevin Dodd was released. I'll put that out on Titans and Truth, the fan page yesterday, which of course will be renamed the TNT Enforcers. I think that's a pretty good name for everybody. So I put that out on the page yesterday with Kevin Dodd being released. I think it's a very unfortunate situation that Dodd had to end up being released. I mean, he really didn't show much that will warrant him earning a spot on the team, and that spot could go to somebody else that may be a little bit more deserving. I hate that happened. Hate that didn't work out. And John Robinson said it himself, he takes full responsibility for it. He made the draft pick and everything. Now, me personally, I wouldn't put all the blame on John Robinson. I mean, don't get me wrong, he deserves some blame. Don't get me wrong on that. He deserves some blame on that, in which I would say about 30% of the blame goes on John Robinson, because he did pick him. That was his 33rd overall pick, his second draft pick ever, and he ended up picking a bust. Not Kevin Dodd, Kevin Dud was basically what it was. And I mean, you had a couple other guys maybe behind him, like a Miles Jack. Jaylen Brown, of course, sat out a year. He's played a bit in Dallas. And, you had some other players that maybe behind them could have been a bit better with that. So, I know that's a pick that, John Robinson wish he could have back, but hey, it happens. There are, in every draft class, there's always one player that just did not get up to par. And unfortunately, in that particular draft class, it was Kevin Dodd. So Kevin Dodd released Actually, yesterday he was released from the Tennessee Titans, which I think is the right move to make. Don't drag him along. If he doesn't want to be there, or he maybe doesn't love the game, maybe he has something personal going on in his life that he needs to deal with, it's training camp. If you're not here to play football, if you're not here to help win games and win titles and championships, you don't need to be in the building at all. So Kevin Dodd, heavy disappointment, but it's the right move. About time he was gone. Back to Taylor Lewan. Love the fact that he was here in the building, ready to go. He will practice. And, John Robinson said himself that there's been some good progress made towards a deal with his agent and his representation. And this is a big thing for Taylor Lewan because, him being here in camp, he could have held out. But he has confidence that his representatives and John Robinson and Vin Marino, the cap guy for the Tennessee Titans, will get the deal done for Taylor Lewan to remain a Titan for the rest of his career. And I think mostly is because, number one, Taylor wants to be with the Tennessee Titans. He wants to play ball. He wants to be with his teammates. He wants to be with Marcus. And at the same time, the Tennessee Titans want him. And they're just trying to figure out the right number as far as finances. I think that is what the holdup is. Of course, both sides want a deal. The Titans want Lewan. Lewan wants the Titans. They're just trying to get the number right. And of course, the Nate Solder deal really messed up everything. The fact that happened back in May with the $15 million deal, which I think was way, way overpaid. And now you got to basically make sure that Lewan is taken care of. So, I think he will get taken care of. He will be signed. He'll be ready to go with a new contract. I'd say somewhere at least north of $85 million. I would say he's going to be making probably around $16 million a season. And I mean, he is one of, if not the best left tackle in football. So I mean, it's well deserved. So I like how that's going. I'm glad he's there, and I'm glad he's there to represent the Tennessee Titans. And now I'm going to give a little quick snippet of Mike Vrabel's press conference, so bear with me just a bit.
How nice is it to have Taylor here and working to start camp?
It's great to have everybody here. We got 89 guys accounted for. Most of those guys ran today. Some of them didn't, but that's for reasons that they're working through stuff. And then it was good to get the young guys in here with the quarterbacks and a few of the players that didn't finish the off-season program. So we got 89 guys here accounted for, and Taylor's one of them. Anticipated good health beyond Conklin. What are you looking like for practice tomorrow? Yeah, I think what we'll see here with Todd how things played out with the run test, but happy to report that everybody passed. Everybody completed the required running that we'd asked them to do. So it looked pretty good. That's just the first step of our journey. We got to be able to come together as a team and start practicing. That's going to start on Thursday. Think Rashad's good to go? Still waiting to see. We'll evaluate him. He's in a process of continually being evaluated, and when Rashad's ready, I know he's frustrated, and I think that anytime you're dealing with certain things with your body, I think that players become frustrated, and that's my job to try to make sure that they stay the course and they do the rehab, they do what Todd's asking them to do, and our strength staff, because you can get frustrated. I don't want anybody here to get frustrated if the injury rate in our game is 100%. Everybody's going to get hurt, and we're going to have to deal with the injuries, and we're going to have to get the next guy ready to go. So, Rashad's, when he's ready, he'll be out there.
A little bit disappointed for Conklin.
I think just to continue his rehab, I think it's really good. Seeing him in here, it's allowed him to focus on really his body, his training, his lifting, and not have to worry about really doing anything with his legs or running. So he looks really good. He looks like he's in shape now. Starting the rhythm and stuff, and running, and getting him on the field as we work our way through camp. But right now he's on PUP, and so he won't be able to do anything as relates to practice or walk through. But he'll work conditioning and meetings and lifting and be with the team.
Taylor here and
well, I think
Okay, that was Mike Vrabel talking about the players coming back. Lewan, he's glad he's in the building. Of course, Rashard Matthews still dealing with a bit of an injury. Hopefully, he'll be getting ready to go at some point during training camp. And also, Jack Conklin is still rehabbing from the ACL tear from the playoff game. So, of course, he's starting off on the PUP list. And so we'll have to see if he's going to be ready to go by week 1. I wouldn't worry about Jack Conklin at all during the preseason. I think right now he needs to focus on trying everything he can to get ready for week 1 against the Miami Dolphins. That would be my focus for Jack Conklin, to get ready for that. Of course, he was about to mention about Philip Supernall being hurt or anything like that. I mean, that's not really a big concern because you still got Delaney Walker, Jonnu Smith. That might be an opportunity for Luke Stocker to step up a bit, and maybe even an opportunity for former Tennessee Vol Ethan Wolf to make some noise and maybe make this team. So we're definitely going to find out about that, but I'm going to play a couple more snippets of the press conference coming up in a bit, because he's going to talk about maybe the anthem policy as well as it related to Jarrell Casey. And then, of course, he had a very interesting thought on the lookout of the entire season as well. Now, here's another snippet from the press conference talking about the wide receivers. And, of course, a lot of us have been concerned about the wide receivers coming into this camp. Here's a little snippet about the wide receivers.
Training camp, how do you like the group?
Well, I'd say the first 2 days of the guys that were here, that would be the 4 rookies and Corey. I'd say there was a lot of improvement over the 5 weeks that since we last saw them. It's good to see these guys work a lot of drills with Rob, one-on-one drills, individual drills, catch the ball from Marcus and Blaine and Luke. And so I think that those guys really took a big step over the course of 5 weeks, and hopefully we can get it to continue. But that's really all I have to go on and evaluate is those 5 players over the course of 2 days.
The reminders that
Now, that was about the wide receivers, and I know a lot of us have concerns about the wide receivers, with Rashard being down due to injury. We don't know, is Corey Davis back at 100%? Because I know they held him out quite a bit during some times of practice and everything. So is he back to 100%, which looks like he is? Of course, Taywan Taylor, has he learned the playbook? Will he be a better route runner, which I think this offense could benefit him greatly? And, of course, Tajay Sharp. How does he look coming back from an injury and everything? And, you got Campanaro and Nick Williams. I think Campanaro will be more like what Eric Weems was last year, the special teams guy. And what about some of these rookies like Jordan Vesey from Cal and Deontay Burnett from USC and Devin Ross? Could one of these guys happen to make the team? And I think one of those 3 actually has a very good shot to be that 6th receiver if they keep 6. I think one of them has a great shot to make the team without a doubt, and I think the other 1 or 2 could end up on the practice squad. So, I know a lot of people don't have a lot of faith in the wide receiver group. Let's just see what happens during the preseason. If, there's not a lot of good routes, if there's, some drop passes or anything like that, then, the spider senses could tingle a little bit and maybe go into yellow or red alert. So right now, let's just see how practice goes. Let's take a look and see what's happening, and we're definitely going to go forward from there. So, definitely let's just try to have a little faith in the wide receivers a little bit, and let's see what happens here. And now we're going to go on to one other piece about the anthem policy, and then lastly, his last thoughts with the season coming up. Now, and here's the snippet about Jarrell and also the anthem policy.
About a lot of different topics all the time. I really enjoy our conversations. That's the one thing I enjoy about being a head coach is getting to know about guys' family, getting to know about the things that they are passionate about, try to help them be a better football player, try to be a better husband. And so that was one of the things that when he came back and he walked in and we talked about, but that was one of them. How we, are able to get our point across through the media, using it, in a positive way to spread our message of our organization, our football team, and whatever endeavors that we want to take outside of football.
You even know the anthem policy now with it being frozen.
Well, I did know it, and then they changed it on us. So I always try to teach the players. I try to learn it, and just like the rules, we're not going to complain about the rules. We're going to try to follow them, and we're going to try to understand them and use them to our advantage. And until they tell us what that may or may not be, then I really can't do anything to help our players because I'm not really sure what it is.
Good, though, that the league and the PA are working together to formulate something, bringing both sides of this together.
Having been really now on both sides, obviously being on the executive committee as the Players Association, I played for 14 years. So, and now being on this side, anytime that the Players Association and the league can communicate, can work together to make things better for our league, our game, our players, and our fans, I think that's a positive thing.
I think a lot of people misunderstood what Jarrell was saying in those comments.
Well, I think anytime that something comes across that may not be how the person intended it to be, there's certainly some things that get lost in, not translation, but I have an idea of what I want to say. And then when I start talking, it may not come out that way. And so, I think that you always have to just, whether that be on Twitter or that be on media, print media, an interview, just be able to make sure that what you're saying is exactly the message that you want to send.
Okay, that was Coach Vrabel talking about the anthem policy and definitely giving some insight to, what the conversation he had with Jarrell and, what he feels about it as far as the policy. And, he, like he said, it changes. He had knowledge of the policy, but then it changed because they froze it. So, of course, now, it's back to what it was before. I mean, I guess the commissioner could suspend somebody if they wanted to, or you could stay in the locker room, or you could put up a fist, just don't kneel or anything like that. So, I mean, there's, the policy's frozen. They're trying to work on a solution between the Players Association and the owners and the commissioner with that. So, a lot of times with in the media, a lot of things get misconstrued. A lot of times that, and we've all been a victim of this, myself included, where you said something, to somebody, or you put a post on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram where you said something and it wasn't what you meant it to come out. You didn't mean that as the message, but, perception is reality. Sometimes you say one thing, but you really mean it to mean something else. And so, that's where you have to be careful. And one thing about social media, you got to be careful at what you say, and you got to be careful at how you say it. Say what you mean what you say. And I think Jarrell, meant a lot of what he said, as far as, the injustices and everything with that. But maybe it came out maybe it was perceived in a way that he wasn't trying to have it perceived. So, that was just some of my takes from that. And last but not least, this is just an interesting snippet of what he thought for the season coming up.
Every team in this league can win a Super Bowl, and I know that people will scoff at that, but this season is really, this NFL season, how they make it, it's like a horse race, and I'm going to try to explain this the best way that I can. But at the beginning of a 20-horse race, or in this case a 32-horse race, they open the gates in early September after Labor Day, and really what the horses do is they don't look to their right or their left, they look straight ahead. And there's a jockey that tries to guide them through this race, and that would be the coaching staff. And really, the horses, they don't care who's next to them. They don't care who's on the right or who on the left and what that horse is doing. They just put their head, they look straight ahead, and they run as hard and as fast as they can. And at the end, somebody ends up getting the right break or doing the right thing late in the race or coming from back in the pack. And so really, whoever's leading at the quarter pole usually doesn't end up winning. So there's a lot of jockeying that goes on. It's a long season, and we're just going to do our best to put ourselves in position, starting tomorrow, building, to ultimately that. We don't want to worry about what everybody else is doing and, hey, these guys signed these guys in the off season, or this is what they're running, and we got to concentrate on what the Titans are doing and not so much what everybody else is doing.
I agree 100% with that. It is, I don't know if it's exactly like a horse race, but I mean, I kind of understand a little bit of the logic, because I mean, a lot of people tend to use it as it's a marathon, not a sprint. It's not about how you start, it's how you finish. I mean, you want to get off to a good start, but a lot of teams that start off fast and start off very, very well tend to not be the ones that end well. You see it all the time. I mean, like last year with the Atlanta Falcons, I want to say it was the Atlanta Falcons. It was a team that started off like 7-0 or 8-0 or something like that. And I mean, got off to a great start, but then you started to falter a bit towards the end. And I mean, just barely making the playoffs and then slipping up into the playoffs. So, as the old saying goes, slow and steady wins the race, at the end of it all. And I kind of understand that, when, horses, they just run their race. You don't worry about what other teams are doing. You worry about what you doing. You focus on you first. And that's what this team has to do. Don't worry about what the Jags are doing. Don't worry about what the Texans are doing. Don't worry about what the Colts are doing. Don't even worry about what the Patriots and Steelers and all those teams are doing. Worry about what the Tennessee Titans are doing. And that is the main thing that all of us need to focus on, what the Titans are doing. That's the main focus of all of that. We run our race. We play the way that we're supposed to play. The wins are going to come. So that's basically how I kind of feel about that. But before I go into my breakdown of the defense for the Tennessee Titans and what I would hope to see from them, I want to give a shout out to our sponsors. First off, to Rose Jewels Boutique and my friend Miss Allison Conley. You could definitely find her on Facebook under Rose Jewels Boutique, and also on Instagram at Rose Jewels Boutique. She can speak with you, and you could definitely put in a serious order as far as some jewelry, if it's a bracelet or a necklace, even a ring or something like that. She could probably make for you. And guys, she can make stuff for men too. So she's probably gonna be a little bit busy at times, so definitely hit her up. It may take a little bit of time, but she can work you in if possible on that. So definitely take a look at that. She will definitely work with you and definitely get you a good price and everything with that. Serious inquiries only. If you're serious about getting some jewelry, fellas, you want to get something for your lady, for her birthday or for a Christmas gift, early Valentine's present. I know that's far, far away. I'm just giving you ideas. Wedding anniversary gifts. Hey, you don't want to be in a doghouse. So hit her up at Rose Jewels Boutique. Also, y'all have seen me in my Titans and Truth t-shirts. Y'all have seen it all on the website as well as on my pages on Instagram and on Facebook. If you want a shirt just like that, hit up my cousin LaCrystal Cleveland at Craft Gasmet Creations. Hit her up there and get you some gear and take a look like the Tennessee Titans. Get the Titans and Truth shirts. You can also get sweatshirts, hoodies. I have each of those. I'm going to be wearing them throughout the season. I will probably be at the first practice. I'll probably be at practice on Saturday. I will be in my Titans and Truth shirt. So definitely get with me on that. I have my information and everything on the back. So definitely hit her up at Craft Gasmet Creations. That is on Facebook. LaCrystal Cleveland also on Facebook. Be serious if you're going to actually connect with her on that. If you're serious about getting the shirt, support Titans and Truth, because if you're supporting her, you're supporting Titans and Truth by getting one of those shirts. And also at Craft Gasmic _Creations on Instagram. You can hit her up there. I'll have that information on the Instagram page as well as on Twitter and also on Facebook as well. So definitely get in contact with her on that. And support her brand, support Titans of Truth as well, and get you a shirt or get you a sweatshirt or a hoodie for this season. So get with that if y'all want in on it. I want to see some other people in the Titans of Truth shirts too. So let's get it popping. I want that to happen. And also, if you haven't already, make sure you share this out. You can share this out on Facebook, on Twitter, Tumblr or Pinterest or anything like that, any of the platforms from YouTube. If you see this show posted on Facebook, share it on your page. Share it to some other groups that maybe don't know about Titans of Truth, that maybe need to know about it. I know there's some other Titan groups out there that maybe I don't even know about. So make sure you share that out. And I want to get some subscribers. I want more subscribers too. If you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, where have you been? You've been living under a rock for all this time. Get with the page. Subscribe to the channel. Look me up at Christopher Newell, or just look up Titans and Truth, and you'll see my name and my channel underneath the show, and just press subscribe. It's very easy. It's very easy to do. You'll see when the shows come up, and you'll be able to join in. You'll be able to watch it and everything once it's uploaded and ready to go. So, don't be a fool. Don't not be cool. Be cool and join Titans and Truth. Come on in, because it is a revolution. I got a lot of things coming up. A lot of big things, like stuff at training camp. I'm going to be doing some Facebook Live at camp. So if you're not on the Titans and Truth fan page, you better get on there too, because that's where I'm going to exclusively go live during Titans training camp and practice. Maybe get some snips from players. Maybe some other media personnel, if they're willing to talk for just a minute. Definitely get that on there. So, like I said, definitely get on Titans and Truth. You want to find out the big news that's going on. You want to find out some things that's happening, see a little bit of practice and things like that. So get with the program on that. But let's get to this preview of the Titans defense as we get rolling and close to training camp. First off, I'm going to talk about each of the positions and what I expect to see from each position, and what am I looking for in those positions. And so first off, I'm going to start with the defensive line. And of course, I have listed of some guys. These are mostly guys that I expect to make the team, and maybe a couple of guys that could make some noise that were not on the team before, but may be able to crack the roster going forward. And so first off, you got Jarrell Casey, Pro Bowl defensive tackle, defensive end. On one side, you got Daquan Jones, who kind of had a resurgence last year. Very, very good year until he got hurt against the Colts and was out for the year. I believe that was a pectoral muscle injury that he suffered against the Colts that put him out for the year, but he was very much improved. David King did some nice things. Benny Logan, who was signed from the Kansas City Chiefs, he's probably going to start at the nose position in the middle. In between Jarrell Casey and Daquan Jones. You got Austin Johnson, who could back up all three positions, either back up Casey, back up Jones, or back up Benny Logan. And then you also got a couple of guys like Mike Ramsey and Julius Wormsley, some guys who Wormsley, I believe, was on the practice squad last year, and then Ramsey was a rookie, undrafted rookie who did make a little bit of noise during training camp. During the off-season workouts, but we're going to see what he does in the preseason and in training camp. So I honestly think you got Casey, Jones, King, Logan, and Austin Johnson making it, and maybe there's room for one more. Maybe they take a look at Jonathan Hankins and bring him in. He's still unsigned on the defensive line, but I do like the depth. I like the fact that you can go about 5 or 6 deep on the defensive line, and then that way you got Austin Johnson, who could play multiple positions. Daquan Jones could play multiple positions as well, and so that's a very, very good thing to have. And I think this defensive line, they're big, they are quick, they are very good against the run, and I think that's just going to help and do nothing but improve. So I like the depth of the defensive line. I think they're going to carry 5, maybe 6 defensive linemen at the end of this thing. Next thing I have are the linebackers. And so you got, of course, I think Wesley Woodyard will be starting in the middle. And I know a lot of people may not be high on this yet. I know Mike Vrabel has been high on this yet. Rashaan Evans, I believe, will be starting at middle linebacker. I think he's going to win the job during the preseason. Now, I would say definitely by season's end he will be starting, but I think he has a very good chance to start right out of the gates in the middle. And a lot of times, the best way you learn is through game action. And I think Rashaan Evans is smart enough. He will be a heck of a football player. I think he's going to make a big impact, and I think he's going to be a guy that's going to make a lot of noise during the season. Of course, after that, you got Will Compton, and he's a veteran coming from the Washington Redskins. I think if Rashaan Evans is not ready, I think Will Compton does start opposite Wesley Woodyard. And then, of course, Jayon Brown, he comes in on passing downs, but can Jayon Brown do more than just be a coverage linebacker? Can he help on the run? Can he be a guy that eventually takes Wesley Woodyard's spot, and then it'd be Jayon Brown and Rashaan Evans in the middle for years to come? This is going to be Jayon's second year coming into the league, so I think he can make an impact there. Of course, on the outside, on the edge, you got Orakpo and Derek Morgan, which I believe only one of them will come back after this season passes, because you got Harold Landry in the wings, or as Vince Young has said, honor Landry. So I'm going to say your honor is going to definitely take one of those spots next season. He's going to be starting next year, without a shadow of a doubt. Now, I don't know if he'll take one of their spots by the end of this year, but Harold Landry's going to get some action, and he's going to get a chance to show why the Titans did jump up to pick him, because they jumped up from 57 to 41 to pick him, which I thought was a steal. I really liked Harold Landry coming out, and I like what he's been bringing so far. And then Aaron Wallace, how is he coming back from injury? Can he be a guy that can get some snaps as well, behind Orakpo and Morgan, provide some more depth with Harold Landry? And then you also got Nate Palmer, Darren Bates. You also got Josh Caraway as well. I think Darren Bates, of course, is going to be on the team for special teams. Nate Palmer, I'm not sure. I would say for special teams as well. Josh Caraway, I think, goes back to the practice squad unless he shows something that maybe can beat out an Aaron Wallace or something like that. So we'll have to see how that goes on that. But I think this is a very deep group of linebackers, in my honest opinion. I think with Orakpo, Morgan, you got Landry, you got Wallace, you can have Caraway. You can have about 5, maybe 6 outside linebackers in this thing. And then, of course, you'll have about 4 to 5 inside linebackers. So I think they'll have as many as 10, maybe even 11 linebackers going into the season. So I really like this group growing together. I think Rashaan Evans, yes, he's going to have some growing pains. He's going to have a few struggles. But I think in the end, Rashaan Evans is going to step up and be a big-time linebacker, in my honest opinion. Next spot is going to be the defensive backs. I think this is probably going to be the strongest group of the defense. It could be one of the strongest groups on the team. Now, I heard somebody, I believe from Chat Sports earlier, talking about how this defense, the secondary struggled last year. I wouldn't necessarily say they struggled. I think there were some parts where they could have been better. I think Adoree Jackson, he kind of had his welcome to the NFL moment in the first game of the year. But as you saw throughout the year, Adoree just kept getting better and better and better as the season went on. I like how he's looked so far. And, Logan Ryan, I think he's going to move into the slot and do very well there. I think that's his natural position. He, was a pretty solid defensive back. And then, of course, we picked up Malcolm Butler from the New England Patriots. And I think the Patriots are going to regret letting him go since they benched him in the Super Bowl, which I thought was stupid and ridiculous. But, hey, another man's trash is another man's treasure. And I think he's going to come in. He's coming in with a chip on his shoulder. He wants to prove to the Patriots and to the rest of the NFL, hey, I should have been in the Super Bowl, and the team would have won if I was in the game. So he's going to play with a chip on his shoulder, wanting to prove something, and I think that bodes well for this Tennessee Titans defense. Also, you got LaShawn Sims, and I think LaShawn Sims is a extremely valuable fourth corner. I think he's going to be very, very good for depth as well. And if, something happens where one of those three guys goes down, LaShawn Sims can step in a snap and do a very good job. You also got Ty Smith, who played a bit, Kalen Reed, who played some, Joseph Esty, who was the undrafted rookie, I believe from UT Martin, who will have a shot at trying to make the team, along with Rico Gafford, who may be trying to do something on special teams, maybe to make a mark on there. But I think you got Jackson Ryan, Butler, LaShawn Sims. I think Kalen Reed makes the team. And then I think Ty Smith will be the sixth corner. And they may carry 7 with a guy being on special teams exclusively. We'll have to find out with that. But I think the secondary could have a chance to be the strongest unit, not just on the defense, but of the entire football team. And so, once a few years ago, the secondary was a major weakness, and now it could be a major, major strength. You got a lot of experience on the secondary front now, and we're going to definitely see what this team is very capable of in the back end. And speaking of the back end, you got guys like Kevin Byard, Jonathan Cyprien, Brendan Trawick, Dane Cruikshank, our draft pick from Arizona, and Damon Webb, the undrafted rookie from Ohio State. Can Byard redo what he did last year? Led the league in takeaways with 10, 8 interceptions, tied for the league lead. He was an All-Pro and a Pro Bowler. Jonathan Cyprien, does he rebound from last year? Last year wasn't that great of a year for him. I would like to see some competition with Dane Cruikshank against him. Brendan Trawick, of course, is going to make the team as a special teams guy. And we'll see if Damon Webb maybe could do something as far as making things better and maybe possibly having a shot at the team. And I want to play a quick snippet of Kevin Byard talking today with the media.
What's the feel coming into this camp? You've had the offseason to get used to your coordinator, coaches, Mike, but this is a team that went to the playoffs. So what's the feel now as you come in, get ready to work today?
It's definitely a different vibe than it was, the previous 2 years. Just the excitement, the energy that's around this building. Just not even just the building, just the entire city of Nashville. Just excited for training camp, excited for football to be back in season. So it's a great time of the year.
Coach, have a general message for you guys?
I think just the message was, especially when we left, 8 OTAs and mini camps, was just make sure that you're doing something to help the team when you come back in July. And I think we'll have a team meeting later tonight, and I'm pretty sure he'll explain a lot more. But at the end of the day, man, we're all on the same page. We understand that what's in front of us and what we have to accomplish, but the work that has to be put in to accomplish that goal.
I just wanted to play a little bit of there from Kevin Byard, and I'm gonna hearing this here now. Give it another year or two, and I've said this before. Kevin Byard will become the NFL's best safety. He will be the best safety in the NFL, hands down. Give it a full year, he's going to be a household name that everybody else will know. And for all the other people out there, it is Byard, not Bayard. Get his name right, because you're going to see that name in lights for many, many years to come. And then last but not least, of course, you got special teams. Is not going to change. You got Bo Brinkley, the long snapper, Brett Kern, NFL's best punter, and, of course, Ryan Suckup, who was 31 for 33 on field goals. And he had a big streak where he at least had, I want to say it was 54 straight field goals within 50 yards. It was broken during the year, but hey, he may start a new streak. So we're definitely going to see what happens with that. And I really like the outlook of this team. I really like how some things are going. And I'm ready. I am excited about this season. I am ready for it. And I'm ready to see what this team is going to be able to do. And of course, I'm going to put up once again the training camp schedule. You can see all the practices. There are 15 practices that are open to the public, open to the fans. The first practices tomorrow and Friday are open to the fans. From 9:50 a.m. to 12 noon. I am going to be at the practice on Saturday, this Saturday, and I'm also going to try to make the practice this Sunday as well. And so I'm definitely going to do that. The practice at Centennial High School, I will be there for that. And then the practice at Nissan, the scrimmage at Nissan Stadium, you'll see me there in that. Like I said, I'm going to be wearing my Titans and Truth colors. I'm going to be wearing that, or you'll probably see me in a jersey or something like that. So if you see me anywhere close to the Titans facility, or if you see me anywhere in town, hey, feel free to come up to me. Feel free to talk some Titan football with me. I don't mind that at all. I like selfies. I like pictures. I'll do some video. I'll do a quick video with you or something like that. Post it out. So, hey, don't be afraid to come up to me. I'm not hard to find. I'm very easy to find, and I'm very easily approachable. So I look forward to that. But last but not least, before we do get out of here tonight, I definitely want to give you my top 5 things that I'm going to be looking for as training camp begins and as we go into the preseason. So I'm going to rank them down from 5 to 1. And before we do that, like I said, once again, definitely hit up Craft Gasman Creations. Hit up my cousin LaCrystal Cleveland. If you want the Tennessee Titans gear, if you want the shirts like I'm wearing, like I wore, and that you will be seeing me in throughout the season, hit her up at Craft Gasman Creations. Definitely hit her up either on Facebook under Craft Gasman Creations or her personal page at LaCrystal Cleveland. If you're very serious about that, I know I've heard a couple people saying they want shirts and things like that. Get up with me if you want a shirt, and I'll definitely get you in touch with her, and she'll get you some information and be able to make that for you and get it shipped to you. So you can wear the same gear that I have. You can get it in navy. You can do it in baby blue, the light blue. You can do it in gray if you want to do that. So there are other colors you could do it in, and she'll make it for you. So let's definitely support that and everything. So I want to see some people in Titans and Truth shirts. Definitely do that. And also hit up the website at titansandtruth.wixsite.com/Titans and Truth. Definitely hit up that website, and I'm going to be putting some content on there this week, and then I'm going to add some more content, some pictures, and maybe a couple of snap videos from training camp. I'll put them on there, some exclusives. So definitely be on the lookout for that. I'm definitely going to try to see if I can start writing again. I'll probably do some blogs as well. So be looking out for that. I got some big things coming with that. But let me quickly, before we end the show, go into the top 5 things that I am looking for in training camp and in the preseason. Number 5, the front 7. Getting pressure on the quarterback, especially from the edge. I want to see, can Arakpo and Morgan beef up the pressure? Can Derek Morgan get to 10 sacks finally? How's the defensive line look? Jarrell Casey continuing to be the all-pro that he is. Does Benny Logan, how does he look? Daquan Jones coming back from injury. How does that look? Do they use Rashaan Evans on the edge as well? I forgot to mention that. Rashaan Evans also plays some edge at Alabama as well. So, there may be times where they bring Rashaan Evans off the edge on pass rushing situations as well. So we'll see how that looks. And Wesley Woodyard, can he replicate what he did last year and having the big year that he's had? And so we're definitely going to be taking a look at that. But let's go to number 4. And that is the offensive line. And, Taylor Lewan being in camp, how's his offensive line going to look in this new scheme? Quinn Spain is going to be battling for his position, with Xavier Suafilo and Kevin Pamphill, and also Corey Levine is going to be in the battle for that as well. And I think Levine could also be in the battle as a backup center with Ben Jones. Josh Klein, I think his spot is pretty safe. They just re-signed him to a big contract this past offseason as well. And until Jack Conklin returns, who is at right tackle, which I think the first dibs will go to Dennis Kelly on the right side. He's always been that sixth offensive lineman off the bench first. And so I think he'll fit right in at right tackle. He could definitely be the guy that could give Jack Conklin as much time as he needs to prepare, to come back from that injury. But also Kevin Pemphill has played all 5 positions on the offensive line, very versatile. So that could be a battle right there. Who plays right tackle until Jack Conklin returns? And the question is, how will Jack Conklin look when he returns? I mean, is he the same All-Pro he was as a rookie? Could he eventually make the Pro Bowl as a tackle? We have to find out with that. How do they look coming back from injury, and how do they look as a whole? But let's go to number 3. And that is the secondary. Can they be the strength of this defense? And do they establish their own special identity? The Seattle Seahawks, they used to be the Legion of Boom. The Denver Broncos used to be the no-fly zone. What can the Titans become? I remember Austin and Zach on A to Z Sports was debating what kind of a name could come up for the Titans secondary. Something like a Coombs Crusaders or Fly 615, something like that. Let's see what they maybe end up becoming. I think that's something that they'll have to pick up of themselves. I wouldn't mind Wrath of the Titans. I think that would be actually kind of cool too. And, what effect does Coombs have on this secondary? I think he's already had a very, very positive outlook and effect on this team already, but how do these guys all mesh coming together as an entire unit? But then let's go to number 2. And this is one of the biggest questions coming into training camp. The wide receivers. Who steps up and takes over as the number 1 guy? Who becomes Marcus Mariota's favorite target? Does Rashard Matthews come back from injury and become the guy? Can Corey Davis, the number 5 pick overall from 2017, does he become the guy? What does Taywan Taylor and Tajay Sharp make any contributions coming back? Tajay coming back from injury. Does Taywan Taylor become that slot guy that could be very dangerous and very effective? They may be able to use him all over the field. And one thing that I noticed is, will we see a lot more 3 wide receiver sets? With the previous regime, we saw a lot of 2 tight end sets or even 3 tight end sets. You didn't see a lot of 3-4 wide. I think with this offense with Matt LaFleur, you're going to see a lot of 3 wide. You'll probably see some 4 wide also in this offense. So we got to see some guys step up. Does Campanaro or Nick Williams do more than just special teams? Do one of the rookies, Burnett, Ross, VC, do one of them make the team and maybe make some contributions? We're definitely going to find out, because this wide receiver unit is a huge question. And we're going to find out what this wide receiver unit is made of, because I know I heard some people saying we should have signed Des Bryant. I personally think the attitude is an issue, for this team, but we're going to find out if it was a good idea or not. John Robinson has a lot of faith in his wide receivers, which brings me to my number 1 top thing that I'm looking for, and that is, how will this offense look as a whole? How, does Marcus and Matt LaFleur be on the same page as far as how this offense is going to look? How is Derrick Henry and Dion Lewis used? Do you see it where both of them are lined up at the same time? You can have Derrick as the power back, which he, has said himself during the press conference today. He wants to be a dominant back in this league. He wants to be one of those big-time backs. And, of course, Dion Lewis, is very capable of catching passes out of the backfield. He can run between the tackles, too. He could be a little slippery running back that a lot of, that could get free and get through the line that maybe somebody doesn't pick him up or doesn't even notice him, and can and he could be a big play on here as well. But health is a concern for Dion Lewis. He's only played 16 games once in his career. But I think that's a good reason why you have a good back like Derrick Henry, so you don't have to put a whole lot of wear and tear on Dion Lewis. And Dion Lewis could also help in the return game as well. He could be back there returning kickoffs and let Adoree Jackson just mainly focus on defense and focus maybe on punt returns. So that could be something there as well. Excuse me for that. And, I definitely want to see what this offense is going to look like as a whole. So that's going to be probably the biggest question and the thing that a lot of people are going to be watching out for as the season gets going. But again, that's basically everything that I have right now. I'm excited about training camp. Again, I will be at practice on Saturday. Practices begin tomorrow. And they're going to be, of course, getting the pads on soon. We're going to hear some clicking and some clacking. And we're going to hear a lot of hits and everything going on. So we look forward to the preseason. And, of course, we're counting down to the regular season. It's almost here, y'all. It's almost here. Football is back. And I am Chris, Blue Enforcer, and I am out. Thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure y'all share, spread the word. I want some subscribers. I want some followers. So get on there, make it happen. I'm going to holler at y'all. Peace.